Hello YouTube community out there, good afternoon or good evening or good morning depending on where you are in the world. I did a posting a couple of days ago and it's had quite a positive response from a lot of different individuals. Those letters that I have sent to the authorities have now all gone on recorded delivery, and we'll wait for the responses as they come through. If I do get any responses, I'm not sure. You can never tell with this sort of thing whether or not it will have a response and bear fruit, or it will just die a death. I really cannot make a prediction on that at this point, but what we have done is we've put our best foot forward and we've obligated ourselves to expose this and make it very clear that it's not acceptable, that these policies and procedures being used by the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society are in fact assisting and concealing rapists. Yes, they are. And they are not helping the vulnerable. In particular, I'm talking about children. Not necessarily just children. There are a lot of sisters out there that also are suffering and have been suffering for many years, some of them, because of the patriarchal ways of this society. It's not good. But anyway, I've had a few requests to just read out the letters that I sent with the 3 copies from page 131 of the Shepherding the Flock of God book, which is of course the elders' book that doesn't exist, their secret document book. From page 131, I've sent 3 copies, 3 pages of that onwards, along with these 2 letters that I've done up myself, and one is a forwarding letter and the other one's really just a very brief critique on those 3 pages of the Shepherding book. So I've been asked if I would just read them out, and so I will do now. I'm going to read them. Do I care if the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society are going to watch this? No, I don't, because really, if they want to defend this, they are defending the indefensible, as far as I'm concerned. And what they should be doing is actually analysing exactly what we are saying and realising that, whoops, this actually is now out in the open. Maybe we need to change our policy and start protecting the child or the vulnerable woman, and not actually the individual, the perpetrator of these crimes. There's a lot more I could have written into these letters, a lot more detail, but sometimes it's better to keep things as simple as possible and just go for the throat. The things that really do concern people, the things that are of concern to everybody. And in America right now, especially in California, this is still very hot news out there, and the concealment of important information makes the individual or society vicariously liable, and as a result of that, they too are in the dock. Here in the United Kingdom, things are no different. If they're holding on to information that is worthy of being passed on to the police, then it should be passed on to the police, and the assisted information should then be allowed to be investigated. And of course we know that's not true within this organisation. They don't like that, and because they want to protect their own skins and their own backsides. So here we go. Here's the open letter based on those 3 pages from 131 of the Shepherding the Flock of God book. It's an open letter that I've started off by saying, and this one was to Andrew Flanagan, who is the Chief Executive of the National Society for the Protection of Cruelty to Children. And this is basically what it says, and I'll just go straight through it. Dear Mr. Flanagan, your mission statement, and this is the NSPCC's mission statement. The NSPCC's mission is to end cruelty to children. Their vision is a society in which all children are loved, valued, and able to fulfill their potential. In other words, a society that will not tolerate child abuse, whether sexual, physical, emotional, or neglect. A society that will not tolerate child abuse. One of their core values, I've put in brackets, and it's just one of their core values: everyone has a responsibility to support the care and protection of children, everyone. So, with those things in mind, the mission statement and one of their core values, and because they're such a powerful organisation in this country, it's quite natural that I would want to send them, the Chief Executive, a copy of my letters and also of what's going on under their noses. I carry on with the letter. Please be aware that it is not the intention to single you out and ambush you with this letter, with this issue. We believe that this involves many bodies and the inclusion of the press to expose and highlight a shocking error of judgment that is going on around the world. California in the USA has just successfully sued the Watchtower for this very policy, amounting to damages of $27 million for one case. Most cases are settled out of court with gagging restrictions. Please find enclosed secret information that has now been brought to light and that is being reported, studied and discussed on many forum sites and discussion groups around the world. What is enclosed are copies of pages from the Shepherd the Flock of God book, used by the elder clergy class within the religious organisation known formally as Jehovah's Witnesses. In addition, you will read my report on these particular pages in question with a view to highlighting the strict instructions that the head office of Jehovah's Witnesses use in directing the elders at local level regarding crimes against children. There are tens of thousands of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses in the UK, and many have experiences of elder abuse and the power these men have over their congregations. You will see in the report and reading the secret pages of the instruction book that the directions being expressed are clearly and unmistakably taking on the role of the authorities, and as a result making sure that as an organisation it is protecting itself rather than that of the children becoming exposed to sexual abuse and rape. They will only recognise the biblical scriptural rule of 2 witnesses being needed to make a complaint become real, if it becomes real. If the perpetrator denies he did anything and there are no other witnesses, then it will be swept under the carpet, leaving the abuser / rapist to continue on his careful predatory path. Right now there are abusers / rapists of children being protected in the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society by the 2 witness rule. The elders are powerless to remove them or even report what they have found to the police. This practice must be stopped, and I've put that bit in bold. Can you please investigate, take responsibility and apply pressure to the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses to change this secret directive that clearly allows an opportunity for child abuse to continue? The instructions and directions from the Elder's Secret Book clearly show that if you have a rogue elder in a position of controlling the information, then he is in a position to manipulate the rules, cover their tracks, even excommunicate the accusers from the flock for speaking out of a child being raped or molested. They say this is not in their rule book to excommunicate, but if they feel this will bring disunity to the congregation, then they will threaten the individual with it. Going back to the policy, in simple terms, the direction should be: if a crime has been committed against a child, then the elder clergy class should advise the persons concerned to go straight to the authorities with immediate effect, and I've put that in bold. And also this bit in bold: straight to the police for the experts to handle the complaint. As you'll see, this is sadly lacking from the instructions and initiatives given by the branch office / headquarters. In addition, please find enclosed a copy of a secret and confidential letter that was sent to all bodies of the elder clergy class in the United States and would have been consistently shared here in the UK too. Reading it through, you will understand the mindset and discipline used by the governing body of the Watchtower in controlling its agents / elders at local level. It is common knowledge that all elders will not sleaze unless they have had permission from the mother organisation. This has led to many injustices regarding the abuse of children. If you are assuming that you cannot act without real cases, then there are plenty of experiences on record for the authorities already. SilentLambs.org will assist you with far more information. This is about changing a policy to protect children and not the child rapist. This is about changing a policy. Please help us to expose and change this policy the Watchtower has of not encouraging individuals to go straight to the authorities when a child has been abused. They are hiding crimes against children. I repeat, some are threatened with expulsion if they continue to shout out that a crime has been committed against a child. Their secret policy is working against UK law. Protecting vulnerable children within closed societies such as the Watchtower has to be a concern of the authorities, and I'm here giving you evidence that shows clearly that crimes can be covered up and brushed under the carpet, allowing certain individuals to carry on abusing children. Please help us change their secret handbook and policy. Protect the vulnerable, not the predator. Yours sincerely, blah, blah, blah. Then I've put all of these CCs and different quotes from those agents. Okay, a very, very, very brief critique. It's just 2 pages long, but it's on, this is really not a letter. This is, if you can just bear with me, I'm reading it, I'll read it verbatim, but it's really to help the individuals that are going to read those 3 pages from the Shepherd book, and then come back to this, and actually I'm trying to highlight what parts to actually look at. So, starts off the title, The Watchtower Society's Shocking 2010 Shepherding the Flock of God Manual, in part, specific coverage on child abuse. Bold. Please read along with the copies that have been provided. The comments below are mine to assist with the official secret directions given to the clergy class elders by the Watchtower, although in reality the paragraphs, when read, are self-explanatory, which they certainly are. Child abuse, page 131, paragraph 18. Quote, you should immediately call the branch office for direction, end of quote. And mine. An accusation of child abuse, stroke. This could be molestation or rape. There is no advice on the priority of informing the authorities. No advice at all. Immediately reporting to the branch office only. The branch office to then give direction based on the circumstances. Question 1. What if the one giving the details to the branch office is the perpetrator, stroke offender? This is a real possibility, to give inaccurate half-truths. 2. Question. The branch office will give direction based on the circumstances involved in each situation. How can direction be given on information that has not been expressed in professional terms by trained, qualified individuals? This is a recipe for disaster. Page 131, paragraph 19. Quote, if you are asked, make it clear that whether to report the matter to the authorities or not is a personal decision. End of quote. An accusation of child molestation or rape. End, full stop. The message here is we are now taking a step back. You want to report this, then it is your call and not ours. Example, if you are caught smoking after an investigation, you will be disfellowshipped or publicly reproved by the same organisation. A report of child rape is something that they will not get involved with. It is up to the individual. Interesting. Every vestige of a Jehovah's Witness life is regulated and monitored by their local elder. If they start to transgress from the cult norm, they will be hauled in for shepherding. But a child rape, they will take a step backwards at the behest of the branch office. Quote, if the victim wishes to make a report, their absolute right to do so. End of quote. Question 3. The advice to go straight to the authorities is not there. Why? Question 4. The elders will be aware and have information pertaining to the crime. Why is this not being made readily available to the authorities? 5. Elders are instructed not to criticise or discipline anyone who reports. Can you see the mindset here? Privately, though, this will be deeply frowned upon because of the potential disunity and disruption it will cause within the congregation. Everyone knows this. The branch office should be instructing elders to support the potential victim and take it straight to the professionals. In reality, they, the elders, go back into the shadows. Page 132, paragraph 20. When a child molester moves to another congregation, the elders send an introduction letter to the new congregation, full and complete information. his background and current situation, a dossier on him. 6. Question 6. His background and current situation means what in reality? What does that mean? Why are the elders doing that? Why are they sending information? His background and current situation? These untrained members of the public sending information? Question 7. Are they taking the role of the police? Seems that way. Question 8. Any letter from the branch office concerning the child molester, and then this is in bold, should not be photocopied or sent to the new congregation. Why? Question 9. Why is the information to be kept from the new congregation concerning branch office? Why can't they see it? Page 132, paragraph 21. Here we have the scenario of a JW moving congregations and has been accused of child abuse crimes, but is accused by only one witness. So he's been accused by one witness, and then he does a bunk. He's off. He's gone to another congregation. Once again, the branch office has to be consulted, and I now quote from them, before sending any information regarding the accusation to the elders in the new congregation. The branch office has to be consulted first before sending any information. Back to me. What is the branch office looking for regarding information? What are they looking for? In part, his spiritual condition and personal circumstances. That's what they've been asking for. His spiritual condition and his personal circumstances. They, the elders, also need to provide the same information of the accuser to branch office. Not the police. Oh no, not to the police. To branch office. To a total stranger. A man in a suit. Probably a young man. Maybe. What experience does he have? Tell you. You can see from the 6 questions that need to be reported about the accused and shared with branch office are in a very hollow sense taking on the role of policemen again. Question 10. Are they qualified to make assessments of the accused and the accuser? No. Question 11. Are they sharing this information with the authorities? No. 12. Are they holding on to the information that should be in the hands of the authorities? Yes. Then you will see that there are another 5 questions that need to be reported and shared with branch office regarding the accuser. Then the branch office will then give you direction as to what information about the allegations should be shared, if any, with the elders of the new congregation, if any. So, based on these loose questions, a child rapist could be moving between congregations, and the branch office may instruct the elders not to say anything to the new congregation. Remember also that no headed letters from branch office are available to the new congregation regarding the potential monster they have in their midst. He is free to associate with children. He will even be welcomed in by the new congregation, and they may have no idea whatsoever that this individual has just raped a child, because there was only one witness. All supported by the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. This policy clearly protects the predator and not the vulnerable child. Well, there you go. That's the critique and the letter. Just to finish off, something, just a bit of food for thought for everybody out there. I wouldn't mind your comments on this. But going back to this 1989 letter, this one that you see here, it talks a lot about concealment, but it says all information I report, paragraph C here on page 6 says that be extremely careful with written material. All material related to judicial matters should be kept in a safe place, accessible only to the elders. Final reports on the handling of judicial matters should be placed in a sealed envelope in the congregation file. Nothing should be in writing to any disfellowshipped person to advise him of his status or the reason for it without specific direction from the society. That's something quite different now. But sealed envelopes. And further on, judicial committee meetings, it says this. Upon conclusion of the case, when they've done a judicial matter, the chairman should place only necessary notes and documents, a summary of the case and the S77 forms in a sealed envelope for the congregation file. Nothing should be preserved outside of this sealed envelope, including unnecessary personal notes. It should all be destroyed unless it's in the sealed envelope by any elder of the committee. Obviously, this is their quote, their words, obviously, no committee will ever allow judicial proceedings to be tape recorded or allow witnesses testifying before the committee to take notes. Obviously. Sealed envelopes, not taking notes. Do you know, I spent 10 years representing individuals within the employment law field, and in all of the meetings that I ever attended on the investigations that took place, probing for information between employers and employees, and sometimes those went into legal frameworks too, and criminal cases, especially with drugs. Every single meeting, everything was minuted. Every meeting was minuted, so that you had a complete direct report of what was said, what was asked, what was given as evidence, what was given as answers, so that everybody had an interpretation of what the meeting was about. Everything was minuted. But here, you're not allowed to take notes in a judicial meeting. They won't have that. The reason they won't have that is because it will be used against them. They're afraid of that. This is a charitable organisation that apparently is divinely orientated from God. Fascinating, isn't it? So they can't be trusted because they don't put anything in writing, and just this food for thought. There are sealed envelopes, probably many tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of sealed envelopes around the world in congregation files. Here in the UK, they're not kept in the Kingdom Halls, they'll be kept with the secretary. What are in these sealed files? It's concealed information. How much of that concealed information, hundreds of thousands of sealed envelopes, how much of that is really needed to be shared with the police? How much? Just a thought there. Anyway, I'll end there. Thank you for your patience in listening to this. I promise, as I get any information on these letters, if we do, then I'll be passing that on and sharing it with you. Can I leave you with a scripture? The scripture that I was looking at another posting today, and it's from Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8. The Apostle Paul talking there, and he says this, and this is in the Living Bible. And now, brothers, as I close this letter, let me say this one more thing. Fix your thoughts on what is true and good and right. Think about the things that are pure and lovely, and dwell on the fine, good things in others. Think about all you can praise God for, and be glad about it. Fix your thoughts on what is true and good and right. There is nothing true, good and right about sealed envelopes, the concealing of information from the authorities, the not protecting the vulnerable within the congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses. Time and time again we are seeing abuses take place, and very powerful men, members of the public who go out and do their shopping at the local mall with their families, are then perpetrating, supporting abusive tendencies towards others in the congregation. It's power mad. There is nothing pure, nothing good out of that, and it certainly is not from Jesus Christ. I'll leave you with that thought. Thank you for now.